Verse 8. And I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey, to the place of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Okay, so God says, yeah, well, He heard them and He's coming to deliver them. Well, who's going to deliver? The earthly person God's going to use is Moses, but who is delivering them? God is delivering them. Not Moses, not anybody else. God is the one delivering them. And is going to take them, not only just to deliver them out of Egypt, but taking them to a land flowing with milk and honey. That's just the idea of overabundance, right? Like what Jesus, when He's going to change the water into wine, creating overabundance. You can go and listen to those videos on John. Okay, and so yeah, sure, there's not real honey, And I mean, sure, they would have had honey there, but not full of honey, right? And sure, the river is water, because, man, you can just drink that much milk before you start throwing up. I remember when I was 17 years old and I studied school textbook, and I read in the biology textbook how good milk is for you. And I'm like, oh, okay, I need to just drink a lot of milk. And I started drinking, I don't know, like four big, it would be about 2 more liters of milk in it one day. And it was in February. It was so super hot. And in the end, I started throwing up because of it, right? So too much good is not good, okay? And so, yeah, sure, one needs to drink more than 2 liters, but you can't drink 2 liters of milk every day. You're going to throw up. So you need water. So yeah, sure, it's not. There's people saying, oh yeah, all right, there's no real milk and honey there, right? Yeah, sure. It's not. That's not what it's about. It just serves out for abundance. I think it's kind of pretty simple and straightforward, right? Yeah, it's a good and a broad land, so it's quite big. Things will grow there. But there are different people there. There are people, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. So there's all these different groups living there. God knows all these different groups living there. And we're saying, oh, I'm taking you to that land. Okay. These people know they're going from one place to another place, from one fire into a even maybe worse fire with more different nations around them, kind of idea, maybe. But in Egypt is the superpower of the day, so I guess it's not, sometimes superpower is a lot worse, and supposedly under protection of a superpower, but it can be a lot worse than all these other smaller people. That's the friends of the superpower kind of idea. Okay, so yes, that would have been, in a certain sense, a signal going off, or like alarm, a signal alarm going off in the head. Like, okay, so we are going to a place where there are people. Okay, it's a broad place. It's a milk and honey place, full of, it's a overabundance, agriculture, everything is great. But there are people living there. How's that going to play out? Well, it's going to play out through warfare ultimately, that God is going to fight for them. But yes, we will get as well to the idea of why, right? Because ultimately this is judgment on them for their sins. God gave them a chance. Now God is judging them. Verse 9. And now, behold, the cry of the people of Israel has come to me, and I have also seen the oppression with which the Egyptians oppressed them. Okay, so God again saying, the cry of the people came to me. And now I am, and I mean, not only that, I've seen the oppression of the Egyptians on them. Not just the taskmasters, the Egyptians. I've seen how they oppressed the people, right? That's just kind of that. So yeah, it's in a sense, it's God repeating, but it's now not the taskmasters, now the Egyptians. Because the taskmasters are the ones that they can see. But actually, who are the guilty ones? Who told the taskmasters to come and to do this? This would be ultimately the Egyptians, right? So they're under control of the Pharaoh, and they told him to. So they're not just doing what they want to, but they were basically told to be like that. Now, sure, always we get people, taskmaster who is more evil than another taskmaster. One taskmaster will treat these people with respect, and another will treat him with disrespect. You have bosses like that these days, right? It's kind of like always been like that. You get people like this. So it's not to say that But anyhow, so it's just a wider, it's not just now the taskmaster, but the Egyptians, the people in general. Verse 10, come, I will send you to Pharaoh that you may bring my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Okay, so God's just saying, come now, I'm going to send you. Now, this is the first mention to Moses now, the fact that he is going to be the one to be sent. God's saying, I've heard, and what am I going to do about it? By sending you, Moses. That's nice. God, you've heard. Why don't you do something? I mean, you are God who created everything. Why don't you just lead them out yourself? Kind of. And God is going to do that. But the human face in front of them is going to be Moses. So this God's now saying, like, you bring my people out, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Okay, this is what Moses does now. Years later on, God is going to do this on his own, but out of Egypt I've called my son, when he speaks of Jesus after his birth, when they fled to Egypt, and then when God brought them back out of Egypt. So yes, that is the true Egypt, understandably, in which, yeah, not the blood Egypt, but the true Egypt, which is Christ, understandably. But now in this case, God is saying that you are going to be that tool to bring him out. Did Moses like that idea? Well, especially in the next chapter, we're going to see, no way, Moses did not want to be that person. Wow, this is such a great privilege, right? You're going to lead the people out. Moses did not want to be that person. He was old. I mean, nearly 80, and he had his innings, right? His innings was over. He want to just sit on a beach and sip something and drink something and just relax, kind of idea. No. You're going to spend your last 40 years leading a group of very stubborn people through a desert. No. It could not have been a very nice thing to think of. So verse 11. But Moses said to God, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the children of Israel out of Egypt? So Moses' reaction is like, who am I? I mean, who am I? I mean, get real here, God. I'm a nobody. I'm just a shepherd here. And this flock's not even mine. They belong to my father-in-law after 40 years. Who am I that I will lead them out? Okay, I guess all the great people in the past would say, who am I? Luther, I'm pretty sure, said, who am I? Calvin. You, even as a pastor, who am I? Who am I, God, to be entrusted to lead even 10 or 20 people into a closer and deeper knowledge of you? Who am I? I'm a nobody. It's not about who you are, but it's about who God is. Remember that. It's about who God is.